Welcome back to Sports with Skiz, episode 16. We're doing the week 6 football recap. I am back. I am feeling better. I thought I was going to die. My wife was telling me to go to the hospital or go to the doctors, but I'm a man, Tanaka, and we don't do that. We're stubborn,
Oh
but
no,
I'm good.
hell no, dude. And we missed you on the last episode because I'd be lying to say that I didn't enjoy um doing what we do, but it's just not right without you here. So glad you're back. Hopefully the fans are glad you're back too.
Oh yeah, hell yeah. You held it down, so I appreciate that. You stepped in a time of need. Again, I was very, very sick. Don't really know what I had, but still got some congestion. But we're fighting through it. We're fighting through it. So, with that being said, Tanaka, we briefly talked about it before we jump into some football talk. Your Rangers lost to my Penguins 3-0.
Yeah, yeah, just no fight, just no offense from them. Chris Drury, that trade last year, I think that really is what dismantled this team. I mean, first half of the year last year, the Rangers were really good. They were projected to potentially even go to the Stanley Cup, and a couple of bad trades. They get their coach fired. So now they're in just a pretty shitty predicament right now. So hats off to you. I think we have what 6 more times we play each other this year though. So
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. We're in the same division. It'll be sweet. I gotta watch my goat Crosby. We're not sure how many seasons he has left, but we'll definitely be watching. But we'll kick it over, and I want to start with this game that honestly made me very, very happy. I don't know how you felt about it, but oh, we are unranked. So Penn State lost to UCLA as 24 and a half point favorites in LA, in Hollywood, in the Rose Bowl. Came out and just laid an egg. And with that loss, they are now unranked. I was trying to look for it. I didn't see it. I don't know the last time Penn State was unranked, but boy, that was crazy. I saw my boy Waz, obviously you know Waz as well too, big Penn State fan. I saw a guy that he quoted or retweeted earlier in the week before that game that said, "Oh, UCLA hasn't led a single time in a game this year. I guarantee they score on the first drive, and that'll be the first time that they have a lead." And not only did they score on the first drive, they held the lead the whole game,
Mhm.
which was crazy. And they had balls. They came out and did an onside kick after that, got a field goal out of it. Just nails, just absolute nails.
Yeah, it's supposed to be called the City of Angels, but I think it's called the City of Devil Worship because what happened there was just it's like it's just so weird. There was only about 2,500 people at the game, and they stormed the field. Did you see them storm the field? There was like
Yeah,
13 people
bro, did you
running
see
onto
the security guard was going after children? It's like, brother, let them enjoy the time.
yeah.
What are we doing?
Yeah, dude. I mean, that's the biggest win in recent UCLA memory for me. I feel like their last big win was that Josh Rosen comeback against A&M.
Yeah.
The one that I can think of off the top of my head, and that was we're talking almost a decade ago now. So UCLA not prominent like they used to be, and Penn State apparently neither are they. So this was horrible. I'm going to be honest with you, Michael. I'm going to rant. The number one paid defensive coordinator in college football, and you give up 42 smackaroos to a team that hasn't contained a lead, like you said, all season long. Nico, I'm going to leave you in the dust because that's what he was doing to us all game. I mean, right? The guy had 150 yards on the ground. Granted, he had that long 70-yard run that he got, brought down right before the goal line. This is horrible. This is horrible.
Yeah, it was a terrible performance. Nico played out of his mind. As much of a fan, like, or as much as I was disappointed in him for the way that he left Tennessee, this was cool to see. It's what you heard about whenever he was coming into college football and the recruit that he was. On the other hand, with Penn State, I just don't understand it. And not to mention, UCLA only had 2 days to learn their new game plan under the new offensive coordinator, Jeff Neuheisel, who, shout out to him. That dude bleeds UCLA through and through. He was a quarterback there, didn't really play too much, got called into action. I feel like in a bowl game in 2014, I
Mm-hmm.
believe, that brought them back to win. And you could just see him getting the last time he played for them, he was getting carried off. This time he coaches for them and he's getting carried off again. And then you see him in the locker room giving the chant, "It's a great day to be a Bruin." I get it. He's young. This could be a one-off, but like, this is someone that you would want to build your program around. Obviously, he loves that university and the football team. I feel like even though he's only 33 years old, he might be the perfect head coach candidate for it. He hasn't showed us much, but it looked like the players bought in. They were extremely happy after the game. And just Penn State's offense just fucking sucks. Excuse my language. We're letting it fly a little bit more.
Yeah,
They
fine.
fucking suck. I don't understand it. They brought back Drew Aller. They brought back two running backs that ran for over 1,000 yards last year. They brought back all five offensive linemen and went out into the portal and got better wide receivers. And you can't do anything competent on offense. Like at this point, it's got to be on the PSU offensive coordinator. Like he just doesn't know what he's doing, obviously, and he just is doing less with more, which I don't understand it. Like Andy Konicki, like I don't get you, brother. I'd have his bags packed before the end of the year.
Oh man, there's people that are they need to go now. There is no end of the year. You know what I mean? I'm sorry. Penn State is too big of a program to go in and you know what? Shame on them. You schedule Nevada, you schedule Villanova. I mean, my good Florida
FIU,
International, the
yeah,
nerve of you to go and do what you've done the last Oregon, you lose to Oregon, fine. Fine. It happens, right? We live in a world of college football where you don't need to be undefeated anymore to make the national championship. You can have two losses.
mm-hmm.
You can't lose to an 0-4 team being Penn State. I mean, it's just Bama's not going to walk in and get beaten up by I don't want to say Vanderbilt anymore because
They
Vanderbilt's
lost,
no
yeah.
longer the stepping stool of the SEC. But
It'd be like this year. It'd be like I don't know, Kentucky or Arkansas.
boom,
Yeah,
you can't walk into an 0-4 Kentucky if that's the case. If you're in Alabama, and listen, Penn State, James Franklin's got to get. He's got to go. He should have gotten fired that night. And you know what? I'm tired. This is what I'm really tired of. When Penn State loses, stop showing him hugging his daughter at the 50-yard line after the loss. I don't care. I don't care. I don't feel bad for her. I don't feel bad for him. I hate everything about this guy, Mike. I hate his
yeah.
glasses. I hate his shiny bald head. I hate his face. I hate his voice. He has no business being there. This is, I'm real close to saying something I don't want to say because it's just not fair. But this guy has been there for entirely too long with zero results, 2 wins versus top ranked teams. I'm sorry, just start fresh. I would rather Penn State come into the season projected as a 7 to 8 win team than watch this every single freaking year. At some point, I'm done. I'm done.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah,
done talking about it. I can't keep.
no, you're good. It's pretty bad. I had some tweets pulled up here that I looked and saw. So Penn State's strength of schedule is now behind Kennesaw State.
Wow.
They haven't beat a Power Four team this year, and there was one more as well too. Something about how the interim head coach for UCLA now has the same amount of wins as James Franklin against like top 10 teams or something like that. It was something ridiculous, but this is the first time since 2002 that Penn State has been unranked. So it's been a while for them. They've asserted their dominance. James Fraudlin, I wouldn't mind if he went. Again, I don't like the university. I don't like their head coach. I don't like anything about him. So it wouldn't affect me. I'm actually getting a lot of satisfaction out of this. And it's very nice to see. Hate me all you want, Penn State fans. I don't really give a shit. It doesn't mean anything to me. So with that being said, we spent a lot of time on that. So
Yeah.
we can move on here. I do want to give another thumbs down to the University of Texas and just another team, simple as Penn State, that started off and ranked in the top 10, is now out of the AP. And basically, for both of these universities, championship or bust. And here they are sitting at 2-3, 4-3. I forget, is Texas 3-2? Or is that what they are?
Yeah.
Penn State 3-2, Texas 3-2, excuse me, in week 6. And I don't know where you go from here. I mean, Steve Sarkisian is just like, I don't know. Arch looks bad. The team just looks so bad. The defense can only do so much. And you go into Gainesville, which is it's a tough environment, right? We understand that it's a tough environment, but their coach's hot seat could not be hotter. Their quarterback could not look worse over these last couple of weeks. And you go in and you lose 29-21 to a very mediocre Florida team. Their defense is good. Their offense stinks.
Yeah, in Texas, it starts up front with the offensive line. This is like Penn State, just supposed to be another solid core coming into the year. I don't think they kept that continuity from last year, but they did get some good transfers in the portal. And Arch got sacked 6 times. 6 sacks, yeah. 2 interceptions. Florida, and hats off to Florida for making the adjustments and coming out. They were receiving a lot of backlash over the last few weeks. Like you said, Napier's been on the hot seat. DJ Lagway kind of sucks. All right, looks bad. He looked great the other night, though. 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, had a couple hundred yards, almost 300 yards. So, yeah. He showed the potential that we all thought DJ Lagway was going to have coming into the season. I mean, that was the Florida team that I expected from week 1. I expected that team to perform well, even against LSU as well. So, Arch, man, dude. Yeah, they have no.
He does run for his life. I will say that he does run for his life, which, I mean, it speeds up the time in your head that you got to think to get the ball out. I'm sure it messes with the system and what you got going on, but I don't know how they fix it. It's kind of crazy too. It's going to be interesting to see how they show up for the Red River rivalry.
They have no running game.
Yeah, they can't establish the run.
None. I mean, Wisner had 11 yards on 8 carries. 11 yards on 8 carries in college.
Mm-hmm. I think Arch led them in rushing with 37
on 15 carries.
Yeah,
he should not be carrying the ball that many times. He should. No. So this is definitely a mix of poor offensive play calling. His receivers down there, Wingo, Parker Livingston. I mean, these guys can't get open. They can't create any kind of separation. Yeah, it's bad in Texas right now. It is.
Yeah, it definitely is. I'm not too sure what you really do. I mean, you still have time to turn the program, or not the program, but the season around. It just sucks that you're going into, a big rivalry game that both teams are probably going to wake up for. Oklahoma's defense is very, very good. We've talked about it multiple times on this show. Mateer looks like he's going to be making a comeback for the game, so that's only going to make things worse. And then you still got Vandy and at Georgia on the schedule as well too, and a sleeper game that I kind of like, Mississippi State. You got to go to Starksville, they've looked pretty tough. They, against Texas A&M this weekend, but I don't really know. Shout out to Florida. Billy Napier just continues to turn into Bear Bryant and Nick Saban when his seat is the absolute hottest. Like, there's a chance that he could save his job again, and the Florida fan base is just going to be sitting here like, what the fuck? Like, what do we do? How do we get this guy the hell out of here? So
at least he's winning the big games, man. Like, not to revert back to James Franklin, but something's got to get. That guy should have been fired that night. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. Understandable. Completely understandable. We'll jump into another kind of, they made it closer in the end, but I thought it was a pretty disappointing showing, especially Florida State just not doing anything for that first, I'd say the first essentially 3 quarters of the game. They didn't really do jack shit. They scored 19 points in the 4th. This game was 28-3 at one point, and they tried to claw their way back. And I don't know who the guy was. It might have been Fletcher, their running back for Florida State.
Mm-hmm.
If I was an offensive lineman or a coach and we're losing 28-3, and then you score a touchdown to make it 28-9 before we kick the extra point, and I see you hit them with the sleep celebration, you're getting pulled. Yeah. You're not seeing the field ever again. What the hell was that? Mm-hmm. Bro, you're getting your shit kicked in by your rival who's scoring touchdowns and going up to the camera, talking hella shit to you, bro. And you scored a touchdown to pull the game into being 3 scores, and you're hitting them with the sleep celebration. No, thank you, brother. That might be a boomer take for me. I'm not even a boomer. I can't stand that shit.
The nerve, and the nerve of Florida State, because they started out, they came out their opening possession hot, fire. Yes. They scored. It was a meaningless field goal, but off of their first 6 or 7 plays of the game, you would have thought, okay, this is a different Florida State team from last week. They're the week prior versus Virginia. They're going to come hungry. They're at home. and Carson Beck just does whatever he wants, right? I mean, this dude looks really, really good throwing
Yeah.
the ball over the field. He's efficient. He doesn't need to throw for 460 or anything. They have
Mm-mm.
a very balanced offense there in Miami, and he just gets it done and just does it right. Just pro style
Yeah.
shit. Um, so Carson Beck is somebody, coming into the year, I didn't really speak highly on, but 4 touchdowns, no picks. I mean, this guy's looking like a prospect.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it helps too. I mean, last year at Georgia, they did lead, I think they led the country in drops. If not, they were very close to it. So he has honestly, I feel like a better supporting cast around him with the offense, especially with Malachi Tony. He was a beast that game, had over 100 yards. But also, too, I think Shannon Dawson, the offensive coordinator, is just giving him easy plays to establish. Like you said, he doesn't have to do too much, and he kind of has that pressure taken off of him that I think Georgia fans were kind of projecting onto him. Now, Miami does have very, very high expectations. They're 5-0. They're a playoff team for sure. So they do have that. I just think that the way that their fan base and their coaching staff and teammates are going about it, it's more like they're rallying around him instead of putting all that pressure on him. And it helps when you have a defense as tough as Miami's. That front four is phenomenal.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're very, very good.
Yeah, I could see Miami doing something this year. I'll be honest, I didn't expect them to be as good as they were coming into the season. Cam Ward, and to me, it wasn't really a quarterback thing. I just feel like they had lost a couple of guys in the draft, and they definitely rebuilt themselves up in absolutely no time. So hats off to the U.
Yeah, hats off to the U. Shout out Deuce Robinson. I really like watching him play for Florida State. Will say that's their bright spot. However, I feel like they need to get other guys in the mix. I don't know if it's just like that's Castellanos is like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to look for him the whole time. He has 433 receiving yards on the season. The next guy has 197. So you got to spread the wealth there a little bit. It's going to be easy to kind of shut that down. I'm looking forward to this weekend's game. They host Pitt, and I think they're actually 10.5-point favorites. We'll jump into Pitt in a little bit here with the game that they had against Boston College. But yeah, shout out to the U. I'm not going to say the U is back. I always get annoyed whenever I hear that because it's like, I mean, they haven't been back since the late 90s, early 2000s. So I'm not going to crown them just yet. But another great game, Knock. And you talked about it on the episode, Alabama and Vandy. You have anything you want to lead off with there?
No, I just, great call by you on Bama. What was it, 11 and a half,
Mm-hmm.
I think. And you told me like, hey, like I'm riding heavy. And, as far as Vanderbilt goes, I love what they're doing. I don't think like that loss is too major for them. When you can't establish any kind of running game, again, when you're playing a team like Alabama, and we had said that their defense is heavy this year, Diego Pavia can't simply get every all-purpose yard for his team. It's getting absurd, at this point. The guy leads his team in rushing. He leads his team obviously in passing, all-purpose yards though. You know what I mean? So I think he threw a pick or two, a couple sacks there. Just offensively, they just weren't explosive. And I'm Ty Simpson. I am becoming a fan of this dude more and more every single week.
Yeah, it's like it took him a little bit to kind of get that confidence going. It was nice that after that Florida State game, they had a couple of tune-up games, but it looks like he's the complete opposite of what Drew Aller's doing and not really taking his I don't even know the talent around him and elevating his play to where Ty Simpson looks like he has it all going on right now. I will say one thing about Vandy. I don't know why they went away from their run game, to be honest with you. Diego threw the ball 35 times. I just don't think that that's a winning recipe for them. He can throw the ball, but whenever you have like Cedric Alexander, 4 rushes, 76 yards, had a 65-yard touchdown run. He only touched the ball 4 times on the ground. Diego Pavia, 12 yards, 12 carries, 58 yards, 4.8 yards a carry. Not too bad, but put the ball in Cedric's hands. Like, get him going a little bit more. I don't understand it. They had 18 total carries for 136 yards. Like, I'd say that's kind of established in the run. I feel like they just went away from it for some reason. And it's not even like they were down big. Like, it was tied 14-14 at one point. Then they go down 20-14. And it's like, holy shit, we got to get back in this game. Let's just keep throwing the ball. It's like, no, your run game can get you going there. It shows it. Like, so I don't know. It was questionable coaching, questionable calls that I think on that. But shout out to Kalen DeBoer. He continues to, shut up the doubters, including myself at the beginning of the year after that Florida State loss. I kind of jumped on it a little bit too prematurely, but he is still undefeated, I believe, in that black Alabama hoodie. So they made the announcement that he was going to wear it and the whole crowd erupted. So I think he's going to keep that going.
Yeah, and hats off to Jam Miller too, coming back from injury.
Yeah.
He had 20 some odd carries for 130 yards, something like that. So
yeah, he looked like a beast.
6 yards a carry. So yeah, Alabama come playoff time, dude. They're gonna be a powerhouse. They're gonna be tough.
Yeah, for sure. And a game that I feel like didn't get a lot of recognition that it should have, but shout out to the Cincinnati Bearcats. 4-1, knocked off number 14, Iowa State, who just came out as flat as could be. They like were sleepwalking in that first quarter. It was 17-0 in an instant. I think it even got up to like 21 or 24-3 at one point, or 24-7, I think it was. But shout out to them, man. They did get a little bit sleepy in that second half. I don't really know what went on, but Sorsby looked good. Pryor at running back looked very good as well too. Cincinnati has a very, very good team. They sit at 2-0 in the Big 12. The funny thing is the Big 12 is honestly like one of the most competitive conferences out there. It's like everybody. Yeah, it's awesome. They eat their own essentially, which kind of hurts them in the long run for like playoff consideration and stuff like that. But you never truly know going into the season who's going to win this.
Yeah, man, and I was pretty excited about Cincinnati. You know, Iowa coming into the game undefeated. I feel like even though they played a couple of decent opponents, I don't think they were ever truly tested. And prime example of being truly tested is when you're playing Cincinnati and you're down 30-7 or 24-7. How are you going to respond? Iowa State, coming into that game, didn't really display too much of their passing attack throughout the season. Again, I explained on the podcast on Friday that they're two different quarterbacks, Rocco Becht and Sorsby, simply because Sorsby likes to throw the ball all over the field where Rocco Becht keeps it inside of the numbers. But with them losing, you kind of saw the ability and the playmaking ability that Rocco Becht had and the receivers that I cannot pronounce this kid's name for the life of me, but Eskildsen, 8 catches, under 5 yards and a touchdown. I think that's how you pronounce it. So
yeah,
you were seeing a little bit of that from them. It just was a little bit too late for them to open up their offense. But one thing that I think would be good for Iowa State is, hey, we lost. We were down what seemed like it was an insurmountable amount of points. They come back, they lost by 8, but hey, your passing game is a lot better than what people think, than shit, maybe even what they might have thought, because they did come out flat. And when you play like Iowa State and you come out flat, and that's what happens when you get behind and when you get down. Now you got to throw the ball, and I love a balanced offense, and Iowa State's a good team. I think that's a good loss for them.
Yeah, they should be able to bounce back nicely. Hopefully, we'll see. I mean, Matt Campbell's a good coach. He was going nuts on the sideline with some of the calls. Shout out Rocco Becht. That dude's a warrior. He took an absolute headshot and came back out onto the field and still threw for 314 yards. So shout out to him. A guy with the name Rocco. I mean, he's got to be tough, right? Like you don't give that name to just anybody. So it'll be interesting to see. But shout out to the Bearcats. They're having a hell of a season. They're what was it? 4 points away from being undefeated. They lost to Nebraska in that week 1. So it'll be interesting to see where that goes. A quick one here. We don't got to spend too much time on it. Illinois continues to bounce back after that loss. They beat Purdue 43-27. I kind of figured that was going to happen. What did I send you over? The line was like 7.5.
Yeah, you took
Purdue.
You took and they covered easy.
And like you said too, from your breakdown, like this is a different Purdue team. They are scoring a lot more, even against USC. They put up some decent points. They're a lot better than they were last year. Obviously, they didn't have a conference win, but Altmaier just put on a show, 390 yards. I think that was a career high for him. And they just continued to battle. Because I will say, Purdue was answering at one point. It was a little bit of a back and forth game, but Illinois kind of just weathered the storm, had a bunch of huge plays, huge receptions. I think there were three wide receivers with a reception of 39 yards or more. So they made some big plays. It was cool to see. And Brett Bielema, he has those boys looking like they're ready to be back into, playoff contention.
Yeah, I think what really got Purdue there is just Illinois had 27 points in the second quarter.
Mm-hmm.
Purdue fell behind, and at that point, Illinois was just able to manage the game. Luke Altmaier, 390 yards through the air, though. So yeah, there's definitely some big receptions and some big plays. That offense looks good, and I like it. I liked Illinois coming into the season. I was a little upset with that loss to Indiana, but you know what? They bounced back as they should have, and I can respect that.
Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. Shout out to the alumni. I don't even know if I pronounced that right, but oh well, it is what it is. They looked very, very good. Chapel Bill, that shit is imploding. Time to start a new build on that. I I don't know if he's going to be around after this season. I had some good expectations for him and everything like that, but my God, they did you see the play that I put on my winners and losers of the play that like summed up their season? Did you see it?
I watched your winners and losers, but
So it was Max Johnson threw a pass to a wide receiver who was wide
it was out
ass
of bounds. It was
open,
out of
bro.
bounds.
And yes, he caught the ball out of bounds and like tiptoed out of bounds, thinking he was in. And it's just the perfect play to essentially, say what's been happening in North Carolina season. And I don't know why this came out. Like it doesn't really affect anything right now. Did you see that they said Gio Lopez was in a car accident before the TCU game?
No, I didn't.
I don't really get the significance of that. Either way, he's been terrible. He didn't even suit up for this game. I guess he's dealing with some injury. Cade Klubnik looked like he kind of found his rhythm a little bit. 22 at 24, 254 yards, 4 tutties. But I don't know. This North Carolina team stinks. So it's like, yeah, I guess good bounce back game. They moved to 2-3.
Yeah, Bill Belichick, bro. I don't even know. Like I want to be so blatantly mean, but I'm gonna refrain. Um, you're a disgrace. You're a disgrace to the game, to the sport, and you know what? Fuck you. And I'm sorry, fuck you, dude. And it's not for me. I don't care about North Carolina. I used to like Duke basketball, so I'm never a North Carolina fan. But really, just like those poor kids, like they gotta wake up and go to practice. They gotta wake up and watch film. Oh, can you imagine being a player on that team having to watch film the next day or the next week? What's the point?
Mm-hmm.
What is the point, dude? That they are bad isn't the word. Atrocious isn't the word. Horrific and horrendous just don't sum it up either. Bill Belichick has to go now. Like that guy's a piece of shit. He's a piece of garbage.
Yeah, it was
those kids at UNC, those fans, those other coaches who bust their ass. Nah. Get him out. Yeah, strictly for money.
He doesn't fit the college. He doesn't fit the college coach vibe. Like he's not energetic. He's not someone who
not
like
a players coach.
He won't embrace the fan base and stuff like how these other coaches are. Like you just got to have a different energy than the NFL. I feel like to be a college coach. And yeah, I'm not a big fan of his girlfriend Jordan. I think that whole situation is super weird. I think he's like very much so tarnishing his legacy. Like I don't look at Bill Belichick
tarnished.
the same.
It's tarnished.
I do not look at him the same. He's just on his hands and knees for a 24-year-old, 25-year-old gold digger, like who's controlling interviews and they're canceling the HBO series and stuff. Now it's like, well, the fucking writing was on the wall. We could see that. She's nuts. I'm not a fan of Jordan. Like, whatever. I don't know if she has
Jordan.
I from listening to part of my team so much, they call her Jordan. I just kind of caught on to it, but
Shorty, your name is Jordan.
Yeah, regardless, screw her. I'm not a fan of her and what she's doing to Bill. It just makes him look
Weak.
just makes him look weak. Yeah, it just makes him look weak. Like one time at the greatest coach in NFL history should have just rode off into the sunset um, with Tom Brady and took his lump
But you
sum
know
there.
what? If he never had Tom Brady, he'd never be here in the first place. The guy
That's
wasn't
what the
that good before Brady. He was just a great positional coach, sucked as a head coach for the Browns, sucked and quit as a Jet head coach. Do you remember what Bill Belichick did back in 2000? He was there for a week and said, nah,
yeah,
I'm done. I'm done. After a
yeah.
week, the guy is a
Well,
piece of garbage. He's an evil person. It's a good, he's, no, I, I'm
the
done.
Jets thing I won't hold against them. The Jets stink out loud. They're terrible. Anything New York right now kind of blows besides the Knicks. So I know that you like that. Shout out to your boys there. But another game I wanted to jump into as well. I don't know if you caught any of this, but Maryland and Washington. Washington came back. I think they were down 20-3 in the fourth quarter and actually came back to win that game outright. So that was huge for them. Anytime you get down like that, it's going to be hard to come back, especially when you are away. But I will have to rant for a quick second. Let me pull this up. I saw this at this point in the game. I believe Maryland was up 20-3. It was. Yeah, they were up 20-3 with 14 minutes left in the fourth quarter. It was on a third down, I believe. Washington threw a fade to their wide receiver. It was incomplete. The DB just did a simple strapped, which I'm not even a fan of. I think it's corny. I think it's overused, but he did the strap and the incomplete. Just so happened that the Washington receiver was laying right by him. And you know what happens? The ref throws a fucking flag for taunting. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Get it out the game. It's bullshit. There's no taunting in the game of football unless it's like blatant taunting. Emotions are a part of every single sport out there. It's what builds it on. They're not there to see you, brother, in the stripes. No one is paying their ticket to see you throw a flag and to make a huge impact on the game. Like that was big. That gives them a first down. They retry, they score after that, and it gets them 10 points closer. Like it's absolute bullshit. We'll have to clip this. If we put it on TikTok or Instagram, I could send this over to you to send or to put on there. It's ridiculous. But again, still shout out to Washington for coming back and winning that game. But I had to bring it up because the refs, what they do nowadays is just utter bullshit. It's just incompetency.
Yeah, like you said, people are going to get emotional. You break up a pass, you make a tackle, you get an interception. Like that's a big deal. That's not easy to do. It's a tough game. I personally, I like fading undefeated teams. I had Maryland in this game, and you know what? I'm not even mad at it. They should have won. You don't lose that. 21 unanswered in the fourth is about as low as you can get, but I can stoop lower. I'm gonna go back to the Big 12 real quick, Mike. Duke and Cal. Ha!
Wait, the Big 12.
I'm sorry. What did I say? Big 12? ACC. Sorry.
You're good.
On the brain. No, listen. I watched Duke score 3 straight touchdowns to go up 21-7. I'm talking their first 3 possessions. Touchdown. They're up 21-7. They lose 45-21.
Cal was up 21-7.
What did I say, Duke?
Duke, yeah.
Son of a bitch. But no, you guys get the point. Cal was up 21-7, and Duke just absolutely dismantled them. Listen, I've never seen – so Maryland collapsed. And you're not supposed to collapse in a quarter like that. That's pretty bad. You know what I mean? I watched Duke for 40 minutes straight. After scoring 21 points, they didn't cross midfield for the rest of the game. They didn't cross their own 40 for the rest of the game. And if that's an exaggeration, it's not by much. It's not by much. Their offense was so bad. Cal's offense is so bad. No running game could get established. Sagapatelli looked lost.
Yeah.
One of the
he showed his freshman.
Yeah, dude. I know he's a freshman. And he's got a lot of hope, a lot of potential. Left-handed quarterback. I like the kid. Doesn't change the fact that Cal's offensive coordinator, head coach, whoever it may be, you got to simplify the offense. Mike, they couldn't get a drag route over the middle. I mean, this was literally, I'm losing my mind. I'm watching this game, like, and I'm pulling my hair out of my head. Just, I had Cal money line. Let's just say I
I
Cal
got you. I got you.
money
Yeah, Duke.
line.
I
So,
mean, Duke traveled across the country. You would think that it would be a little bit tough on them. I'm interested because I fell asleep during this game since I was battling that sickness. But Devin Brown, did he threw a pick? Did you see him come in and throw a pick? The
for
backup quarterback for Cal.
no.
Oh, it says he had one pass and it was an interception. So I was interested to see maybe they put him in. Oh, they must have put him in for it was the last drive they must have put him in for, and he had one pass for one interception. So I thought that was pretty funny. I know we just talked about Sagapatelli. He's going to bounce back. I mean, he's very, very good. His freshman traits were kind of showing there a little bit. However, I do want to jump to another true freshman that played absolutely lights out for my Pitt Panthers, Mason Heinschel. He was a baller, 30 of 41, 323 yards, 4 touchdowns through the air. Knock. This kid was a gamer. I get that they're playing against Boston College, not the best team, but when Pitt needed a bounce back and you bench your former 4-star quarterback who's making a lot in NIL money, you brought him back in Eli Holstein. He's looked terrible, can't make a read. And you say, you know what? We're not going to even go to Gonzalez, the senior that came in and transferred. We're going to go to the true freshman out of Ohio, who everybody was high on. He was only a 3-star recruit, but everybody was talking like his leadership's good, his decision making's good. Like, and he showed it not only with like actual passes completed, some of the incompletions that wide receivers dropped or were taken back from a penalty, he's throwing off 1 foot 40 yards on a dot to Kenny Johnson. He just can't hold on to it. He's throwing balls 50 yards to Blue Hicks, who's catching it for a touchdown. He's not very fast, but he's good with his feet and his pocket mobility, and he's making throws on the run. He's running the ball for first down. He just looked so good. And you could see it instilled some confidence in Kenny Johnson too. He had 115 yards. It was his kind of breakout game. And, at one point Pitt was up 48-0. And, Boston College scored that lonely touchdown of theirs to make it 48-7.
Yeah, I had Pitt first half, so that was pretty nice.
Ah,
It's always nice when the team you take just goes in and does what they're supposed to do, right? Boston
yeah.
College, like you said, not a great team. There are moments though that Boston College has where they can show signs of being competitive. Not last Saturday, not at all. They were all sorts of fucked up. I mean, Lonergan, their starting quarterback, only had like 80 yards passing. I think they had like 2 or 3 guys throw the football. And
Yeah.
Kenny Johnson, like you said, 9 catches, a buck 15 and a score. No receiver even came close. So he was definitely doing his thing out there, and rightfully so. Kenny Johnson's a good ball player.
Yeah, for sure. And with that being said, too, Boston College, we know that they're not like a powerhouse or anything like that. But I will say they lost to Michigan State by only 2 points in like that insane overtime game, lost to Stanford by 10, and then lost to Cal by 4. So this was their first game where it was like, holy shit, the game's over in the first half. So shout out to Pitt. Their defense looked amazing. Right now, I want to say that they rank top 15th in pass yards. They're ranked 7th in defensive running, and I think 50th in total defense. So they're coming to play. Their defense really hasn't been the gripes of the season and why they have 2 losses right now. It's kind of amazing that they really do have 2 losses at this point, but it was a good bounce back game. It's going to be interesting to see how the freshman keeps playing, especially going down to Tallahassee and Florida State this weekend. So I'll definitely be tuning in for that game. Other than that, Knock, I mean, not really much else that I really wanted to talk about. Shout out to Wyoming and UNLV. They played in a snow game
Yeah,
this weekend. I don't know if you saw that.
yeah.
So
Crazy.
UNLV legit weathered the storm, the snowstorm. The boys from Las Vegas, Nevada, showed up and won that game 31-17. So it looks like we got a special guest back there. Shout out to the big guy.
Shout out to Ruby. Yeah.
Shout out to Ruby Tuesdays. Love having you on here. Another disappointing thing, Oregon State. Holy shit, do they stink? They lost to Appalachian State
I'm glad you brought that up.
27, 27 to 23. They're 0-6. At this point, you got to kind of question why the hell Malik Murphy went there.
I think he went there just to play.
You think that was it? I mean, it's
play.
crazy that Duke moved on from him last year. He didn't play bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't play bad at all. Like, he threw for just under 3,000 yards, 26 touchdowns, 12 picks. Like, they played pretty well. I just don't, it's just kind of crazy to me. Like, Oregon State of all teams, I feel like there should have been other teams that were waiting for him. He still has another year. Surprisingly, I feel like he's been a senior for forever. So it's going to be interesting to see if he stays at Oregon State, but holy hell, do they suck.
That's so funny, dude, that you even ask, like, why would you go there? I just, on some time that I had myself created a road to glory, and I picked Oregon State. It's got to be a Jersey thing, man. Their color scheme is pretty sweet. I remember a time where Oregon State was good ball. And they weren't great ball, but they were.
With the Rogers brothers.
They were competitive ball. I mean, this is 0-6. You lose to App State. I mean, App State's good football, though. You know what I mean? So.
And it's not only like it's not even only App State. It's like, bro, you blew a lead in the last minute to Fresno State. You look terrible against Cal.
Mm-hmm.
You got shit on by Texas Tech and Oregon. You lose a close one in back-to-back weeks to Houston and App State. And the funniest thing of all of their like schedule this year, I could see one win. They play Lafayette. Lafayette's a Division I AA team from Pennsylvania. I think they play in the Patriot League. So I could see a win there on my birthday, 10/18. But the funniest thing is they play Washington State twice. So they play them on November 1st, and then they play them on the 29th. So
wow.
That I saw that and I had a nice little chuckle about it. It just is, it's super funny to me.
It is, like, they're just alone two teams in the Pac-12. Like, why,
bro? And it's so funny because they haven't had a bye yet, right? So they play Lafayette. So they play Wake Forest this upcoming week. They play Lafayette the next week, and then they have 2 byes in a row. So their schedule is just all sorts of, like, it's kind of like the NCAA. Whoever was making it was like, fuck Oregon State. They don't really care about them. Like,
they only had a few minutes to put Oregon State's schedule together. They're trying to cram it in. They're like, all right, they got Washington State.
Bro, it's so weird because they got Wake Forest, then they got Lafayette, then they got Washington State, Sam Houston, Tulsa, and Washington State again. It's just the most random schedule of all time. I guess they'll take whatever they could get with the Pac-12, just kind of leaving them out to dry, which I think is so unfair. It's kind of fucked up that
every other Texas Tech and Oregon in there too.
Yeah. It's so weird. And then you look at Washington State's, like, theirs is super weird too. Like, their games that they have left, they got to go at Ole Miss, at Virginia, right? And then they host Toledo. Then they go Oregon State, Louisiana Tech, at James Madison, and Oregon State. So it's super, super weird. I feel for those programs and those fan bases. It's kind of like, again, they just got left out on a boat and no one's coming to save them.
Yeah, it sucks. Hopefully when they get, like, Boise in the conference next year.
Yeah, next year.
A couple other of those teams, maybe they'll show a little bit of I don't even want to say dominance, honestly. Maybe just some competence. Some competence? I don't know. So maybe they can play football next year. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at their record year by year. Record year by year. Their last, in 2023 they went 8-5. 2022 they went 10-3. I think that was the first year that they had DJ Uyunglele, and he kind of showed a little bit. But shit, bro. Before that, it was 7-6, 2-5, 5-7, 2-10, 1-11, 4-8, 2-10, 5-7, 7-6, 9-4, 3-9, 5-7. And then you get to when they had I think the Roger brothers. This is like back whenever they were pretty good, is 2009 to 2006, 8-5, 9-4, 9-4, 10-4. So
wow. That's the Oregon State I grew up watching.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly, bro. And it's like they were constantly ranked usually, and I don't really know where you go from there. But Yeah, that's really all I had for this week. Knock, do you have anything else?
No, I'm good. I'm really excited for North Texas, South Florida next week. Uh, at the
Yeah, that'll
beginning
be a
of
good
the
game.
year, if you would have told me that was a game to highlight, I would have told you piss off. But I am actually really excited for that game. Spread's only like 1.5.
1.5 USF. I see
So,
that. And it's a Friday matchup too, which is nice. So it's like,
oh, that will be nice.
yeah, so you get that and don't really have to do too much. Another game that's going to be, I think, to look forward to for the people. I hope it's a good game, but Eastern Carolina takes on Tulane on Thursday. That should be decent. I'll be tuning in for that one. But yeah, we got some pretty good games this weekend. I'm excited. Ohio State got to travel to Illinois. Bama's at Missouri. Pitt's at Florida State. Who else we got here? We got Indiana at Oregon. The Red River rivalry with Oklahoma and Texas. NC State travels to Notre Dame. Northwestern looking to give Penn State their first 3 losses in a row since God knows when. I'm gonna be rooting for the Purple Boys there. So we got some good games. I'm excited about that.
Oh yeah,
Um,
it's a
but
huge
yeah,
game.
we're back. Shout out to Knock again for holding it down while I was out with an illness on the IR for a little bit there. But we're back. We're cooking. We're going to be recording tomorrow as well too for our previews for Week 7. So make sure you tune in. Give us a follow on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Threads, everything on there. We're just getting started, so we're going to continue to do this. We're having a lot of fun doing it, and we appreciate everybody who's tuning in.